What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Keep It Kula Podcast. My name is Jacqueline. Today I got Sam McKee returning to the show. Second time around. How you doing, Sam? Thank you for coming on.
It's my pleasure. I'm glad to join. I'm, pretty excited, pretty nervous. It's about to be, it's the calm before the storm. We're about to enter the Thunderdome. So I'm excited to talk some Jays.
We have
Certainly don't want to talk Leafs. No Leafs questions.
No Leafs questions. You have that covered later for Kipper and Bourne. Everyone knows where to find you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got, well, before we talk about Jays and stuff, Thursday Night Football was on last night too. Did you catch any of that, or were you too locked into baseball?
I had like 3 screens going last night. I was watching a bit of the Leafs, but not really. And I was watching the Red Sox and the Yankees, of course. And I had an eye on the football game because I do have Christian McCaffrey in my fantasy team for work. And I started that tight end they have, Tongus or Tongues or whatever the hell his name is. And he got a touchdown, so it worked out well. But yeah, I had a bit of an eye on it. Watched the end of it uninhibited because everything else was over.
Yeah, no, it was quite the ending. Mac Jones, MVP, something fantastic against the Rams, who have been the hottest team. So I just wanted to throw that out there. Shout out to Mac Jones.
Looks like he couldn't walk. He was done.
That guy was crushed. Like if the Rams would have kicked a field goal, I'm shocked that they didn't kick a field goal there because there was no way Mac Jones was able to carry that ball down the field after. But whatever, man. Rams, I don't know what they were doing there, but great win. Obviously, the main thing that was on last night was Red Sox Yankees. We were anxiously watching because we were gonna be playing. Whoever wins that plays the Jays. What was your thoughts last night watching that game? Because we have seen a very tight series these past 2 games before that, and the Yankees kind of owned the Red Sox last night.
Yeah, I mean, just the past few days in general, Jacqueline, just in with the incredible playoff baseball that we've been watching. 3 straight days of 3-4 games. I didn't watch much of the Reds getting wallpapered by the Dodgers, but the other 3 games I was really locked into. And yeah, Red Sox Yankees for the right to come and play the Toronto Blue Jays, it's pretty exciting. And I thought last night that Schlittler, which is one of those ones that you have to be careful how you say it on the radio.
Martinez knows that, yeah.
Oh my God, I love it. And we're gonna get Buck trying to pronounce his name again probably. I think Game 3 potentially for Jays, he could go on regular rest back in the Bronx. So we'll see what happens there. But I was mesmerized by that, and I don't know what was going. His stuff was electric. I get it, but the Red Sox had a bunch of terrible at bats. They're waving at everything. It seemed like they had no chance. So I'm of 2 minds because I've watched the Jays play this Yankees team all season long, where they owned them. Like they really dominated the season series against this team. And, at times they hit all their pitching. Even Max Fried, the Jays had success off this year. Multiple times where they got to him, including on Canada Day, which was the best regular season game. And you almost died at that game, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, you are right.
Yeah, so it's 2 different conversations for me. Regular season and playoffs are totally different. And the Yankees have played in a million big playoff games. This Jays team hasn't. It's going to be really fascinating to see how this Jays team responds on Saturday afternoon, and I can't really wait. I'm pretty excited about it.
I cannot wait. I'm going to the game tomorrow. I am so excited. I've never been to a Blue Jays playoff game in my life. This is going to be absolutely electric. Going into this game, what are the biggest adjustments, though, that the Jays have to make because we're playing a Yankees team that has gotten much hotter since we faced them?
They got hot against really bad teams. I know they won, what did they win, 11-12 down the stretch, including, I think, 8 in a row to finish, and it somehow didn't matter. That's crazy how big of a lead the Jays had built up and how well that kind of hot streak beat. I think that you're just going to have to kind of, make them play defense. Make them play. And I saw that Aaron Judge even talked about it, that they don't strike out much, and I don't know if you're going to make a ton of adjustments, Jacqueline. I think there's a point where you just kind of want to play the game that got you there, and you've seen the Yankees struggle with it. The Jays, they're an excellent defensive team. They're great base running, the fundamentals of the game. That has been the calling card of this Blue Jays team, and if you watch over the past 3 days, a lot of these teams have been playing this, brand of small ball that they're not necessarily used to playing, and the Jays have been playing that all season long, so I think you make them play defense, and I think you keep the ball in play, and you're going to have a chance to beat these guys. You're going to have to pitch, don't get me wrong, and I see a lot of the pitchers on a lot of these teams throwing 100. I'm like, ugh, Jay's bullpen doesn't have that. You're going to have to pitch, but I really do think that the familiarity kind of works in favor of the Jays. Like, they're setting that, is it Luis Heel that they're setting out in game one? Like, Jays have had a ton of success against him. Freed, they've lit up Schlittler this year. Like, they've seen these guys. That's the thing. They're not going to trick them. So I really do think that it's an advantage. And to answer your question, I don't know if you're going to make a ton of adjustments. I think you're just going to kind of play your game and keep the ball in play and make them make the mistakes.
Yeah, we've definitely seen the Yankees make mistakes this year. Volpe, we've seen definitely struggle on defense and, stay in these games and struggled. But yeah, it's definitely going to have to, we have to play the game that we've played where it's not always pretty. Sometimes it's sloppy. They have the most comeback wins for a reason, right? They know how to get it done. And, going into this as well with the pitchers, there's a lot of talks about what we're going to see because there's talks about, we want to see Gausman game one, we assume. We want to see Savage in the lineup, right? We want to see Bieber. Is there a chance, though, that Savage does make that game 3 start in New York, or do you want to keep him in Toronto for the biggest moment of his life?
It's a good question, and I've been texting this morning with a bunch of my buddies. The group chats are popping off this morning about in anticipation of this series. Is it too cute to not do Gausman in the first 2 games at home? It's probably too cute, like to go Bieber, Savage, and then have Gausman on extra long rest going into game 3 in the Bronx. That's probably getting way too cute. They'll probably go Gausman game 1. Clearly, I think I'm hoping on something that's not going to happen. But to me, you can't send Savage into that environment. He's made a couple big league starts now. I understand that. And 3 big league starts, right? His first career win was at home on the second game of the series against the Rays in the final weekend of the year. But I do think that pitching in, wherever the hell, the Jordan Steinbrenner Field, which is first big league start against the Rays, and then going to a sleepy Kauffman Stadium, and then having your 3rd career start on the road be a night game in the Bronx. I don't love that scenario for him. And I believe in this kid, and I really think that he's got kind of that it factor. But if I'm John Schneider and Ross Atkins and all the people that make decisions about this, I'm loving Trey Savage in game 2. And you have sort of a long piggyback guy, potentially Lauer, whoever you want to have kind of on the ready if it doesn't go well. But we've seen these rookies have success. Like even that Connolly early last night, I thought he was pitching really well, and then his defense kind of let him down, and then they kind of got away from them a little bit. You saw Schlittler do what he did. They can have success at this level, so I think you want to protect Savage and give him a home start, and you send Bieber on game 3 with the more veteran presence, a guy that can go in there and kind of handle that scenario. So that's how I would line it up at least.
Yeah.
And then game 4, you see where you're at. Maybe a Bassett, maybe a bullpen game where you start Varland and then go with Lauer or whatever you want to do.
Yeah,
Lauer is going to be important, especially against the Yankees. So
definitely.
We'll see.
Yeah, we saw that. Yeah, listen, with Savage, as cool as it would be to see him go to New York, he's a rookie. He's 22. He just was drafted a year ago. He somehow found his way into the major leagues this year.
It's an amazing story. To start in Dunedin and then definitely making a playoff start for the Jays is a meteoric rise.
It was unbelievable stuff. And so, yeah, listen, if he gets a win in New York, let's say, he becomes an overnight legend, no question. But you can't really do that to a 22-year-old kid. Yes, he's fantastic. Yes, he has the stuff. But you want to keep him at home. And, we're talking about potential other pitchers if we go to game 4, game 5. Is Scherzer out of the picture now?
For me, he is. I think... I don't know what to make of him. He pitched 4 games in one of those practice games, or 4 innings in one of the practice games, right?
Yeah.
So I don't really know what to make of that. For me, you just have to go off the results of the past little bit. And I thought the game where they lose 20-1 was one of the worst starts of the year, clearly. But just the situation that they were in, where it just made them tax their bullpen. And it was they didn't have any off days, and Tyler Heineman had to go 2 innings. And just what that did for the team, I thought it was a horrible start. And then I thought they shouldn't have sent him back out there against the Red Sox, and I was at that game one of the worst regular season games I've ever attended. I went with a buddy of mine who's a diehard Red Sox fan. He was in my face the entire game. It was a nightmare. So I just think you have to go on recent results. And I think he had a couple decent starts against the Yanks this year, if I'm not mistaken. Scherzer, remember a couple of them, they had some power off of them, but I think maybe like some okay results if I'm not mistaken. A lot of games this year, Jacqueline. I'm trying to remember back.
Yeah, 162 of course.
But the recent results for me are just too shaky and too bad, and these games obviously are too big in the playoffs. And I'm not. You like the steely resolve, you like the veteran guy, but at the same time, if he's just throwing pumpkins, you got to get him out of there. So I'm not a fan of having him involved at all in this series. If it was my choice. Yeah,
no, 100%. And I think a lot of people feel that way. I do. A couple of weeks ago, I was thinking Scherzer would be game one starter potentially, right? It was Scherzer, Gausman, Bieber. And the way that things have changed, and that's what makes baseball such a crazy sport and a weird sport, and just Scherzer was playing some of his best stuff, and then all of a sudden he looks like an actual 41-year-old pitcher who's kind of way out of his prime and earring for retirement. So it'll be weird. Yeah, I really don't see Scherzer out there, especially with what we've seen in some dire moments of the season. Going into this playoffs as well, other than Vlatty, who really needs to show up against the Yankees? Who really needs to be swinging that bat well? Who needs to be hitting that ball alongside someone like Vladdy?
I think it's got to be the usual suspects, and I don't think it's going to be Bo Bichette, because we saw that picture and video of him kind of walking around, and that just sucks because
brutal.
You can really dream about the what this Blue Jays team could do with a healthy Bo Bichette, but I think it's Springer. I think Springer is a guy that had an unbelievable season where nobody expected it, and then he had a MVP caliber season. And I think they need him to continue in the playoffs to do this. I mean, think about when they signed him. One of the main things they brought him in for was his playoff pedigree. A guy that's like a guy that has, clutch moments and World Series stuff. And I think they really need him. And another guy that I'm looking at is Barger. I think Barger had a really, really shaky second half, and he didn't really light it up like he did in the first half of the season. So maybe the week off, get him going a little bit. And Kirk, who had one of the best series a Blue Jays could possibly have, that propelled them to winning a massive series, winning all three of those games so they could win the AL division, the AL East division. I think those guys outside of Vlad are the three most important guys in Springer, Vladdy. Varsho too. Springer, Springer, Barger, and Kirk are the three guys that I'm looking at outside of those guys that would be the most important. So we'll see, but they're going to need. Listen, this team's had contributions from everybody. It's been the bottom half of the lineup. It's been guys like Varsho. It's been guys like Clement. It's been guys like Straw. It's been guys like Lucas. There's a million different guys you can point to, and that's what makes the Jays great.
Yeah, it's such a beautiful thing to see this team have really no one I have concerns with when they're at bat. Everyone contributes. Everyone does something. Everyone can be clutch. Going into this as well, are there any guys that you think could be like a sneaky clutch player in this?
Yes.
Like someone like Ernie Davis, anyone like that?
Davis Schneider.
Yeah.
I've already pictured the moment where, I don't know what inning it is, maybe sixth inning, the Yankees lift their starter. They bring in that Tim Hill to face whatever lefty the Jays have, and they send in Davis Schneider off the bench, and he hits a massive 2-run pinch hit home run. I've already envisioned the moment that's going to happen. He's been excellent all year for them in his role. I don't think they overused him. I don't think they overstretched him. And he's just the type of guy that you feel is going to have a big moment for this team. So for me, it's an easy answer. I think Clement is a bigger part of this team than Schneider is. So to have, Clement have a big moment wouldn't be as much of a surprise because he's been pretty clutch all year, including that home run in the top of the ninth at Dodger Stadium in the most stressful regular season game ever. But I think it's going to be Davis Schneider that comes up with a huge home run in this series, and we're all going to be loving it. The babe will be back. That.
Yeah, he has been so hot. He has been such a likable player. He has been, I can definitely see that clutch moment. I'm sure you already have that ready in your drafts on Twitter. Davis Schneider 3-run homer kind of thing going on. He'll become a legend, no question. And going into game one, it's like, what atmosphere should we be expecting? Because this is a different team than it was a couple years ago. It's even a different team than they were in 2015. Is this going to feel like the World Series kind of vibes?
For sure.
Yeah.
And I'm about to sneeze, I think, but I'll continue here. Thought I had a sneeze brewing in my nose, but I thought you were going to get one on air.
Very professional.
I've been to 2 Jays playoff games. Actually, that's a lie. I've been to 3 Jays. Actually, I think maybe 4, Jacqueline. Let me think.
Going
here.
back
Okay.
from when? How?
So I went to 2015. I went to Game 2.
Okay.
When they lost in extras to the Texas Rangers. That put them down 2-0, heading back to Texas, where they eventually won 3 in a row. They won 2 there, and then the bat flip game 5. I went to the Edwin Encarnacion wild card game, which was electric. And then I went to 2 games in the Cleveland, then Indians ALCS. I went to the 1 game they won, which would have been Game 4 to make it 3-1 series. And then I went to Game 5, and I saw them get eliminated. So those would be the 4 that I've been to. I would say that the wild card game is the loudest sporting event I've ever been to. I'll be interested to see what they do with the Dome, because there's been a lot of talk about if MLB wants the Dome open or wants the Dome closed or whatever they do with the Dome. It's supposed to be 26 and sunny here on Saturday, so I would hope that they keep the Dome open, but we'll see what happens there. But honestly, if it's closed, it's way louder, and that place shakes, and I'm expecting it to be like that on Saturday. Listen, there's going to be a ton of Yankee fans there, too, because they travel, so they're going to be loud. It's going to be an electric environment. I'm already getting chills thinking about it. It's going to be fabulous. So it's a huge advantage. Jays were excellent at home all year long. And if they go through this series potentially and go to an ALCS, they have home field advantage all the way until the World Series. And potentially who makes the World Series, they could have home field advantage in the World Series too. So it's pretty exciting times, and tomorrow just feels like such a huge moment. They're probably getting the Yanks' worst starting pitcher. If you can go up 1-0, it really feels like it's a huge, huge, huge chance for the Toronto Blue Jays. So can't wait.
Yeah, this game feels so special.
Yeah.
This feels it's the biggest game in years. You know,
Yeah.
I was at game 162 with the Kirk Grand Slam, and
oh wow, I saved my money for the playoffs. I was considering going, and then I didn't have a ticket, and I was looking at the secondary market, and I'm like,
so
I'll save it for playoffs. Plus the Ryder Cup was on, so I didn't want to miss that. Yeah.
I was invited to this. I wasn't even planning on going.
Ooh.
I said yes before we knew how dire this was. I'm like, and then especially when we found out how important this was, I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm going to this game. Like, oh my gosh, it was the greatest thing ever. And that game felt like a playoff game. That place was shaking. It was unbelievable. So I cannot wait for what we're going to see in game 1. And going into it as well, is Vladdy going to become alive? Do you feel like Vladdy is gonna, because he has not been good in the playoffs, right? We've seen it. He has had a really bad
very
second
bad,
half.
actually.
Very bad. Yeah, exactly. I'm being kind.
No,
very, very bad in the playoffs. Are we gonna see a new version of Vladdy?
You still got me here?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay, sorry. I think the Yankees, he loves to play against the Yankees, and this is very interesting. Like, I don't know, anecdotally, Aaron Judge is unbelievable at Rogers Center, and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is unbelievable at Yankee Stadium. So I don't know, do with what that information what you will, but I'm sure I'm sure Vladdy's numbers at Yankee Stadium, maybe Fenway, but they have to be the best of his sort of career at Yankee Stadium. There can't be another place he's better. So that part of it for me gives me a little bit of hope, and I think a little time off is good. Where we're back to 0 on the numbers. We're kind of like the narrative of his second half isn't as much as a thing where you're just kind of like, all right, you know what, here we're okay. We're starting new. We won the division. We're going into the playoffs here. Big game 1. You know these guys. Like, I think the sort of break was massive for him as opposed to having to go into that wild card series against the Red Sox where it's like, oh my God, I haven't been able to get a hit. Blah blah blah. I do think that the break, and I think that I'm predicting a good series for Vladdy. I'm predicting that he's going to have a really this could be a turning point moment for his career in terms of the clutch narrative, and I'm really hoping it is because they need him without Bo. They need him to be the $500 million man.
Exactly, yeah. And if he doesn't have that season, that playoffs, what does that mean for, I guess, the way that
People whining about it. That's what it means. People are going to be whining about that contract. And listen, that's what happens when you sign for $500 million. That's just the breaks. Like, it is what it is, Jacqueline. Like, that's what the money's for. But if the Jays have a disappointing series and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is bad, we're going to be talking about the number one whipping boy in this city, where everybody are going to be talking about his contract and talking about how they overpaid him and talking about... There's going to be a lot of Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Conversations, which puts way more pressure on him. He knows that. And, we'll see how he sort of reacts to that pressure. But a lot of pressure on Vlatty. A lot of pressure on Vlatty. No question.
Because both in the playoffs before for Vladdy, he didn't have this deal, right? He didn't have a contract. So he's either going to become that man this weekend, or it's going to feel like a failure, as you said. And speaking of someone else who has disappointed the Jays a lot, Jeff Hoffman, there's a lot of concerns about Hoffman.
Thought we didn't have to talk about this today, Jacqueline.
Yeah, we got, I think
I put a no Hoffman combo in my clause.
Okay. All I ask about Hoffman is that if and when he comes out in game one, are we going to hear cheers or are we going to hear groans?
I think people will be like, "We love you." And then the first knock grumbles. Like, he's going to get his little, they're going to put the lights down and they're going to do his day and night thing and everybody's going to hold up their phones and everybody's going to get excited. But here's the question I have for you.
Yeah.
This is something I was thinking about. So, it's usually the ninth inning. It's the end of the game when the closer comes in. Late eighth inning into the ninth. We saw the Padres yesterday. They bring in their closer in the fifth inning because it's a certain part of the game where it's the biggest part of the game, the lineup, whatever, so you have to bring him in then. Like, if they bring in Hoffman in the fifth inning, are they going to do the intro in the fifth inning? Did you think about that? I thought about that last night when I was watching that game.
I say yes. I think
no way, you can't. Middle of a playoff game.
Can you not do that?
The fifth inning, and you're gonna bring Jeff Hoffman in with his intro.
The light show.
Chance. No chance.
I think if the Rogers Center, if they have Moxie, you do it. If you have Moxie, you do it. You do that crazy, obnoxious light show for a fifth inning.
Anyways, but this is why I'm just talking about this because I'm terrified to have the conversation.
No, and that's okay.
I see every other team's closer, and they're throwing 100 with a nasty slide piece and change ups, and I see that Mason Miller, and then it's like our guy. If it wasn't for the umpire on the Friday night of the Rays series, he may be the least liked player in the history of the franchise, where he was absolutely brutal in the biggest spot of the year, and he couldn't locate the zone, and that ump bailed him out. Bailed him out, Jacqueline. So we'll see. But it's a lot of time off, so maybe his arm's better. Maybe he gets up to 97. Maybe he starts getting that tail on the heater again. But my confidence level in him is not high. Yeah. And I would be interested to see how quickly they pivot from him. Because they paid him a lot of money.
Is there a chance we see someone like Varland or Dominguez in the playoffs, or you think Schneider's going to roll with Hoffman throughout? If he has a good game one.
They paid him $33 million. Yeah. Like, he's the guy that is supposed to be pitching in the biggest innings, and he's never been a closer before, and this is his first year as a closer. Mm-hmm. I think we can all agree, did not go great, and those games pale in comparison with the pressure. So, if he blows a save, I don't even want to put this in the universe, but I'm going to because we're talking about this.
Yeah.
It's a situation you have to talk about. If he blows a save game one, Jays are up 3, comes in, gives him a 3-run bomb, do you go back to him game 2 in the same scenario? You can't. Can you? But they might. I don't know. It's a tough one. I don't know.
We've seen Schneider do that this year where
trust
Hoffman
in him.
has had
big time.
Has trust in him, but it's not one of the 162 games of the year. This is playoffs. This is a best of 5 series where I don't know if you can do that. I think you got to maybe throw someone in like Louis Varland who can throw 100, 101 miles per hour there, and someone who the fans have really began to love. And it's tough to have a closer and that no one really likes. It's a tough to have a closer. Like no, like I don't know if I've talked to anyone the past 2 weeks who likes Hoffman. I try to defend him. I'm just trying to be a positive sports fan. And
I was gonna say, what's the argument to defend?
My argument
maybe he'll turn it around.
Is that he has a lot of saves, but also has.
How many did he blow this year? 10? 9?
Yeah, I think so. I believe so.
In that range, it's a lot.
I believe so. Yeah, no, it's gonna be tough to defend him, but I'm gonna just throw it out there.
I have a spin for you.
Yeah.
If you look back to the most important series of the year, which was over the July 1st weekend, that was 4 games against this very Yankees that they're about to face starting tomorrow. He got 3 of the 4 saves in that series, and he was dynamite in that series. Mm-hmm. And everybody was kind of on the train. Everybody thought he was going to be good. They really overused him, and his velocity went down. His location went down. Now he's facing the Yankees, who he's had good success against this year. Mm-hmm. Maybe. How's that for some positivity?
I like that, Sam. I like that spin. I like that twist. Definitely round of applause for that, for the positivity of being a Toronto sports fan right there. But listen, but that's a real thing there with the way that Hoffman can perform, the way you said Vladdy performs in New York, right? The way that Hoffman performed against Yankees, against really the turnaround of this Blue Jays team was definitely that week. We saw Hoffman become clutch. So maybe you're right. Maybe it was we overworked him this year after that series. Maybe the time off, playing New York, maybe he's just gonna be really clutch. Maybe Hoffman is just meant for these moments. Like I like to compare things to football a lot, and I look at like Julian Edelman, where he never made a Pro Bowl, right? Julian Edelman was never a Pro Bowl. I don't think he was ever a Pro Bowl wide receiver.
No idea. No, I'm not a football guy. No idea, but I know he was good.
But in the playoffs, you would think he's top 5 wide receiver of all time.
Oh, he's unbelievable.
All these clutch moments. Yeah. So maybe we see Jeff Hoffman as a Julian Edelman player where doesn't do anything too much in the season, but playoffs, man, you would think he's top guy in the world. People who tune in for the first time, number 1 closer in the world. That's my prediction.
I would love to believe that, but just don't look at his playoff numbers from last year. Okay.
But it's a new year, new team. It's everything has changed, Sam. Everything has changed, and
whatever helps you sleep at night, Kula. Whatever helps you sleep at night.
Listen, on the Keep It Kula podcast, we defend Mr. Jeff Hoffman.
I'm just quickly pulling up his playoff numbers. From last year. I don't know if I can do that.
Let me hear that.
I'm just like last year. He was 1-3 in the playoffs last year with a 40.50 ERA. Is that good? In 3 games, he gave up 6 hits and 6 earned runs.
Oh no. Okay. That is
3 hits and 6 earned runs.
All right, that is terrible.
In 3 innings. So listen, we gotta hope he turns it around.
That is some terrible stuff there. I admit that is terrible stuff, but you know what, Jeff Hoffman, if he comes in the 5th inning or the 9th inning, they're going to play that light show. Roger Center's going to go crazy with either.
We can't end on that note. We got to some of the positivity.
All right, yeah. The Yankees fans who are coming here, are they going to be respectful people, you think, or are we going to get real Yankees fans?
Respectful? Yankee fans? Have you ever met a Yankee fan?
But being in Toronto, they'll be nicer.
No shot. Listen, I've been to a million Jays Yankees games. They are loudmouths. They're obnoxious. And listen, that's what it is. They're real fans. They care. They're allowed to be loudmouths. They're allowed to be, as long as it's not getting physical, you're allowed to be obnoxious. But I think that's what kind of, like you talk about the on-the-field stakes, the off-the-field stakes for fans is huge. Because part of me just didn't even want the Yankees to make it. Because they just bring this whole thing with them. Like, I think the Jays have a better chance to beat the Yankees than they would have against the Red Sox. The Red Sox team just, I don't know, there's something about them that kind of scare me.
Crochet, yeah.
They got Chapman, like that Yoshida owns the Jays, Bregman, all these different guys that they have on that team. Whether it's correct or not, I feel like they just scare me a little bit more. But, like, just having the Yankees be gone and not having the whole ecosystem that comes with the Yankees coming to Rogers Center, it's just a scary, scary scenario for Jays fans where they're going to have to potentially eat it from Yankees fans for the next however many years if the Jays lose. we'll see. I think the Jays have a great chance to beat them, but a lot of stakes on and off the field in this series, Jacqueline. A lot of stakes.
It's the first time the Yankees and Jays are facing each other too in the postseason.
Hard to believe.
Which is, I don't believe that. When I read that stat, I thought that was absolutely insane. But it's the first time. Twitter figures are gonna be going crazy this week from the Jays and the Yankees. It's there's a lot to it, not just for the players, but for the fans and for the egos of us. But yeah, to end it off here. What is I want your full prediction of how the series is going to go record-wise. Who's taking it home? Who and how many games? Are we getting a sweep? Are we getting
Jays in 5?
Jays in 5.
They're going to split in both places, and then it's going to come to Game 5 in Toronto, and the Jays are going to win in Game 5. That's how it's going to go for me.
And who are we going to... Yeah.
Gosman, I guess, Game 5. Right? That would be a regular amount of rest.
Yeah.
But everybody involved, including Trey Savage.
Scherzer?
That's how that...
Scherzer?
No Scherzer. Scherzer's not even going to be on the roster. They haven't announced his playoff roster yet, but I would be surprised if he's on the roster. But my official pick is Jays in 5. 1-1-1-1, Jays win Game 5. That's how it goes.
And who are we going to play afterwards?
Hoping the Tigers.
Yeah.
But I'm not thinking about that. That's a long way away, but if the Jays can find a way past the New York Yankees in this series, which will be really tough, and then the Tigers upset the Mariners, you bring back that Jays-Tigers rivalry, and the Jays have had a ton of success against this era of Tigers baseball, including a 3-4 sweep down there this year. Yeah. 3-4 would not be a sweep, so don't mind me. They almost swept them. That was Scherzer's best start as a Jay, if I remember correctly, the Sunday that they lost that game. So that would be the ideal scenario. And then hopefully the Dodgers and Phillies lose. And then if you want to go to the World Series, you're potentially playing the Cubs or the Brewers, I guess. But it feels like it's going to be the Dodgers.
Yeah, it'll definitely be a tough stretch. Yeah, exactly. Dodgers look fantastic.
Although the Phillies-Dodgers first round should not be allowed. That sucks. Those are two of the best teams in the NL. It's like that feels like it should be a CS, but it is what it is.
That is absurd to me that we're getting that so early. But yeah, that's just how it's going to be. Ohtani is freaking fantastic. To be insane. Yeah, I'm gonna say Jays are winning this series. I want to say a sweep, but if I'm being realistic, likely 5 games. Vladdy's gonna come alive. We're getting a Vladdy home run tomorrow, Saturday.
Oh yeah, let's go.
We're getting a Vladdy 2-run homer. We're gonna see a lot of Springer. We're gonna see Schneider come alive, as you said. I gotta let you go. I know you gotta do some Leafs talk later.
Oh, great. Yeah.
What?
Oh, electric preseason talk with real Kipper and Bourne. Tune in today.
Make sure everyone tunes into Kipper and Bourne talks for some Leafs talk. Listen, we're gonna have something to do when the Jays season. Hopefully, we're celebrating a World Series, and then we'll have to watch the Leafs. Be the Leafs.
Yeah.
Sam, McKee, everybody. Follow him on Twitter, Instagram. Find him. Watch him on Kipper and Bourne later if you want to hear some Leaf stuff. Maybe a little Jays stuff you guys are going to talk about.
Absolutely. Kipper's so into the Jays. All he cares about is Jays. He's just like me. He's just like, the first thing he says, we don't even do any hockey. He's like, Sammy, what about the Red Sox or Yankees? Blah, blah, blah. So,
I love that. Every hockey show is talking about the Blue Jays, guys. Come on. Once again, Sam, thank you for
My pleasure. My pleasure, Jacqueline. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone. Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe on Spotify, whatever you got to do. Once again, thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.